Welcome back to Sledgehammer Horror, guys. I am Ken Sledge.
And I'm Ashley Sledge.
And let's talk horror.
Today we're going to do our review on 2024's Werewolves.
So the synopsis of this film, two scientists try to stop a mutation that turns people into werewolves exactly 1 year after they were touched by a supermoon.
So we're going to talk about the positives, the negatives, and then we are going to spoil this film. So please check it out if you haven't already.
It does come out in cinema today, so make sure you're checking it out. But for now, let's get to the positives.
So some of the positives, it starts off with this cool like booby trap montage type thing. He's booby trapping his niece and his sister-in-law's home.
Trying to make sure that they're safe.
Yeah.
He is a scientist, and he's got to go try to work on the cure like we talked about earlier. But this movie really does feel like if you took werewolves and put them into a Purge movie, that's what you would get from this. A lot of tension and anxiety all throughout the movie.
Mm-hmm. And it's just really a unique idea for a werewolf movie. Obviously, there's tons of different werewolf movies going on, but this one is like a unique take on the werewolf genre.
And how they're trying to find out more about them and also stop them at the same time. They do get these decontamination suits on, and I love the POV shots from inside the decontamination suits. It looks super futuristic, which is, I know, makes me sound geriatric, but it has the oxygen meter, the battery meter, just to try to increase that anxiety of what's happening. Mm-hmm. So I love all those shots.
Also, the acting is believable. You feel like they're genuinely scared, and just like angry, like the acting is believable, even by the kids.
Yes.
So they all did really well with acting.
Some spotty parts, but overall really, really good. And I love that the werewolves in this movie are super intelligent. Mm-hmm. These aren't just Neanderthal-like werewolves. They make good decisions. They try to plot ways to get into houses that are unstoppable, that unforceable. And they make very smart decisions in the movie, taking out cameras, breaking things, they're very intelligent on how they want to get in and wreak havoc on people.
Yeah, which you don't normally get with werewolves. They're, like another form of like a dog that just wants to like
hunt,
eat.
But they do still do it's still pack rule.
Yeah.
So there are still your classic werewolf tropes mixed in with some new werewolf stuff. So, overall, like I said, with stuff like that, I thought that worked in this movie. Mm-hmm. By how intelligent the people around them were. For them to be as intelligent as they are makes them much harder to be defeated. So, obviously, trying to keep this as spoiler-free as we can. Those are our positives. But now, let's get into our spoiler-free negatives of Werewolf.
Some of the negatives, so the CGI, the transformation of the werewolves isn't the greatest, doesn't look that good. But the werewolves themselves look decent.
After the transformation. Yes.
Except for the kid werewolf. Looks like the Grinch a little bit, looks kind of silly, like maybe they wanted to add some Whoville Grinchiness into the movie.
The kid werewolf definitely looks like the Grinch. Even our daughter, who's 4... That looks like the Grinch, and so that definitely stuck with us.
But the adult werewolves look pretty good,
right? And I agree. I think that the practical side of things looked really, really good in comparison to the CGI. Mm-hmm. You got that one goofy, over the top, crazy person yelling, acting insane, pounding his chest. Hurrah! 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 Mm-hmm. Right away, you're just like, oh, this fucking guy.
Yeah. It's just over the top. Like, okay, we get it. You're crazy, but it's a little much there, buddy.
Right.
You also get not a lot of cheesy one-liners, but you do get one that is just like, oh, Lord.
Bite me! I counted probably a good 4 or 5 where I was like,
yeah, but one in particular that stands out to me is just like it's too goofy, it's too cheesy,
especially for the moment he's in
the type of movie that it's supposed to be, especially when it doesn't really feel like they are like, it's not lighthearted, like it's definitely not supposed to be like a funny one-liner.
Well, there were a couple moments in the film where maybe some of them could have landed, but the moment we're talking about does not land whatsoever. Now, this just might be me and my crazy brain and my crazy eyes, but a lot of the reflective light throughout this movie annoyed the piss out of me. When you get the reflection off the flashlight, like that reflective light, there's a lot of that in this movie, and it was hard. At first I was like, I'll get over it. And as it kept going, I was like, this is kind of like Smile 2 with the water. Like, this is really starting to irritate the shit out of me. So, like I said, it's not like a deal breaker, but I'd be lying if I said it wasn't annoying.
And I can't really say a whole lot about this part because we're in the non-spoilers, but just the way it ends so abruptly, wasn't a fan of that.
I don't know if, and we'll talk about this in the spoilers, because I don't know if they're trying to like do a sequel thing here, but they left a couple things purposely, I think, they didn't tie them together on purpose.
It's possible that they are, but at the same time, it's just like, if they're not, then there's a lot of things that were,
definitely left open that shouldn't have been. So those are our non-spoiler negatives of Werewolves. Now, like I said, if you haven't seen it, pause this, go check it out, come back, and check out our spoilers for the film.
All right, guys, so now we're going to start spoiling the movie. So no one should be going out into this supermoon or they will turn into werewolves.
This takes place a year after the events of the first supermoon.
Yeah.
So they kind of have a little bit of an idea, and they've been working on a vaccine, so to speak, to try to help. But everyone's preparing for it in different ways. Like I said, you got some of the people that are going and they're going to be testing out this substance to try to stop the spread. You got other people that are just, locking down their houses very purge style, trying to keep the werewolves out.
You have army guys that are painting their faces and shooting things, making sure that they can, shoot the werewolf.
I'm sure things turned out good for him.
I'm sure they did. Yeah. He literally says wolf killer.
Wolf killer on his chest.
So, he's got to be good, right?
Yeah.
Wesley's brother,
who's our main character?
One of our main characters, he died the year before in the first attack of the werewolves. So
he's defending his family.
Yeah.
His sister-in-law and his niece.
So he's the one that's helping them. He's the one that's booby trapping their house, showing his sister-in-law how to shoot a gun.
Yep.
All those things. He is taking over for his brother.
Well, and they developed a liquid called a moon screen, which blocks the moon rays that causes people to mutate. So that's what they're doing. They have 4 volunteers that they're going to be trying these out on, 2 of which are just absolutely batshit insane and want to be turned into werewolves. One is our other lead, her husband, and then just this lady that tries to back out at the end and unfortunately cannot.
They don't allow her to, which is kind of messed up. Yeah,
it's
she's
real
scared.
fucked up. She does not want to go through with it.
Yeah, but they're like, well, she volunteered for this.
Right.
Still, that's shitty.
Right.
So the moon screen works, but it only works for an hour tops. Yeah. So they didn't reapply. So all of our volunteers turn into werewolves, causing havoc in the lab.
Right. Well, and then Lou Diamond Phillip, who's an actor that I love, he's in this movie. And when he starts to transform, this is the only thing that popped in my head.
No!
Selection in honor of the dead.
Not Richie! Not Richie!
Yeah, I was like, not my Richie. Not La Bamba. So that part really did mess me up. And then after this, obviously, Wesley, he's trying to get back to his niece and his sister-in-law. That's all that matters to him now, is making sure that his family is safe.
Yeah, because he doesn't, that is his only family.
Right.
He says it at one point, I've been around the moon 5 times and I don't have any kids of my own. This is
what I got.
Yeah.
They go through a lot of shit, though. Going through the mall, they run into this street gang that doesn't trust them for some reason. You're like, why? They're literally showing you they're fine.
Yeah.
What are you not trusting about them? So.
But of course we have to have, the instead of just having the werewolves, we have to have other protagonists.
Right.
So you had to add those in there too. You have to fight more than just werewolves, I guess. So he gets back to his niece and his sister-in-law's home, and it's pretty much been taken over. and he decides I don't understand this part.
I don't get it either.
He decides the way to protect them is to turn himself into a werewolf so he can fight off the neighbor werewolf that we were talking about earlier that was like shooting stuff and had
and he still has the face paint,
and he has the wolf
killer and he's a wolf.
Like
when I saw the paint, I was like, yes, the paint's still on there.
It's funny, but at the same point, I don't understand this because they're a pack. They're werewolves.
Right.
They stick together. Like all the other werewolves, none of them fight each other. So why he's able to fight this werewolf, I don't understand that part. But we couldn't really talk about this in the non-spoiler.
But the cool thing is we get a total Mortal Kombat Sub-Zero style. Wesley rips off the neighbor guy. He tells him he never liked him anyway.
Yeah.
As he's a werewolf, he rips his head off and his like spine is still attached. Like it totally reminded me of Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat, that head rip. Mm-hmm. But everything from once he decides to turn himself into a werewolf, this whole movie goes completely downhill to me.
Yeah.
Because, like Ashley was saying, they're a packed animal. So when you have a pack animal like that, he's not going to still have that human side of him.
Right. So he does get into the house and Lucy's like trying to plead. That's his sister-in-law. She's like pleading with him, like showing him a picture and trying to get him, like the human side of him to come out. I don't know. But it's just like you turn yourself into a werewolf. Yeah, you took care of one werewolf, but there's still the problem that you're still a werewolf.
And it shouldn't have even happened that way. There's no guarantee you're going to take out that werewolf because you shouldn't have.
Yeah.
You should have became part of the predator.
Yeah. And
going after the people.
They had like 15 minutes left until daylight.
Yeah.
So he's like going after Lucy and she shoots the like where everything
where
was
it's boarded up on the window.
And so the sunlight comes in and he turns back into a human. So
and then he reaches his hand out, picks her up, and the movie ends.
And that's the end. And that's how it ends. And so we don't really know what happened.
And Dr. Chen's wife, the one that was with Wesley the whole time, she just gets taken off screen.
She just gets,
like there's no blood.
She's smiling too.
Right.
Like she smiles at him and she gets pulled off screen and then he goes to Lucy's house. But it's like
we have no idea what
we don't know.
You know what they say, man. If we don't see him die, they probably didn't die.
Or she's dead. And that's just
they didn't have the budget to do it. Maybe
it's possible.
But overall, I would say I'll give this movie a 2.5. I think that's a fair score for me. A lot of tension, a lot of dread. Like I said, if you like werewolf movies if you like the Purge movies as well, this might be right up your alley. Mm-hmm. Up until that, third act, I was all in. I mean, I still like the movie a lot.
Yeah.
But that took it down a lot for me. Because even when she was showing him the picture, like you thought for a minute that he was gonna, love was gonna win. I was like, I swear to God,
love doesn't win with werewolves.
We know this because of David and Nurse Alex.
Yes,
okay,
if any time love would have won, it would have been with those two.
Right. So when that started to happen, I was like, you better fucking not.
Yeah. I said, you better not. You better not.
And they didn't, thank God. But for him to just literally reach out his hand, pull her up to her feet. Cut to credits. Yeah. I was like, that's questionable. I feel like you said maybe they ran out of budget. They ran out of time. Because like I said, overall, like the werewolves looked great.
Yeah.
I like the look of the werewolves a lot. The transformations, not so much. But the acting was great. I was never bored throughout the movie.
Right.
So yeah, I'm going to say 2.5.
I'll give it a 3 out of a 5. Again, like you said, there's tension, lots of action. I really like the I don't know her name, but the little girl actress. I thought she was really believable. Like she was scared, but she had to be brave at the same time. And I really love how she was mourning for her father and you're just like, I miss daddy, especially in a time like this. And even Lucy, she was angry with him. Like, I have to fight these. You
selfless hero. How could you leave us?
Yeah, like we needed you and you went out and you tried to save all these other people.
And you lost your life in the process.
Yeah, and so there's a lot going on. There's a lot of emotion. And it is fun. It's action packed. You're kind of on the edge of your seat.
Mindless. We were talking, the last review we did before this was Heretic.
Yeah.
So, you talk about polar opposites. Like, this movie, you absolutely could shut your brain off and have a good time. Mm-hmm. This is a movie that you can have such a good time with. The action's great. The practical effects are great. Like some of the kill scenes, like I said, the head rip. Another girl gets her back rip off. One of the street guys gets his face ripped off.
And that all looks good.
Great.
The only negative I have about the CGI is
the transformation.
The transformation.
Yeah.
It does not look. It doesn't look good. And we've seen so many good practical werewolf transformations. I think that maybe we're spoiled a little bit with that. But yeah, it's just like, oof.
Yeah, you're so close.
Yeah.
You're so close, Werewolves.
You could have had it.
But it's definitely worth checking out, guys. If you haven't checked it out and you still watch the spoilers, I hope that you still go and check this movie out because it's definitely worth the price of admission. We had a very good time with it. If you have seen it, let us know in the comments. What did you think of Werewolves? What did you think of the ending so abruptly? We would love to know your guys' thoughts. If you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe. It does help build the channel more than you know. And follow Sledgehammer Horror on social media. Our links are in the description as well. But until next time, keep talking horror.
Stay who you are.
And we'll see you guys soon.
Bye, guys.